Welcome to the Art Piece Experiment. We're your hosts, two artists and friends. I'm Tasha.
And I'm Brianna.
At the end of 2024, we decided we wanted to cultivate more safety, peace, love, alignment, and excitement through our art and our art practices.
So here we are sharing our journey with you, and we're so excited you're here. We hope you enjoy our conversations. They're honest, raw, just two friends talking to each other about the realities of life and creativity. We're so excited for you to join us and be along with us for the journey.
Welcome to part 2 of this conversation. If you haven't checked it out yet, part 1 is available. It's the very first episode of our podcast. You might want to listen to that one first. If not, if you're just fully rebelling it and listening to this episode first, we also love having you here. Welcome. This is our first artist check-in. We're going to be talking about the art that we created during this week. It's week 3 of the Art Piece Experiment for us. Without further ado, let's jump into the conversation. So speaking of that, did you paint this week? We're how long into this and we're just getting to it. That's fine. That was a great conversation. I loved it.
No, it's good. I did do some sketching. So I did do some artwork this week, which was really good. So it was really interesting because I, in the past couple weeks, have been really trying to focus on what delights me, right? I've said that every single time.
We will probably continue saying that.
And I love that perspective. But I've tried to make the art practice a really special thing, right? But I've only done it like twice. And previously, whenever I would sit down to draw art, it would be like, I was kind of excited, and I would sit down, and then it would be like overwhelmed, like the blank page, like what am I going to do? And oftentimes that would keep me from even sitting down at
fear of the blank page.
The fear of the blank page, the fear of like not knowing what to do, or the fear of not making it look good, or whatever. It was all very fear-based and very anxiety-based. But when I sat down this time, I was kind of feeling that a little bit before. I was feeling like, and when I actually sat down at my desk in the place that I had, created that whole atmosphere, it was this instant feeling of like, calm and safety.
Yeah.
And peace. And I hadn't even like lit my candles, I hadn't even like done anything to make it that atmosphere. But just because I had done that the last couple of times and really embraced that.
Yeah.
Just the act of sitting down at that same spot made those feelings come up again and made it feel good.
I love that.
And so then I was able to move forward with creating, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to know that it only took a couple of times. Like it didn't, I don't know, it didn't have to be this year-long thing for me to get to that place of feeling good. Which, I don't know, everybody's probably different with that, but
right.
I was expecting it to take longer, I guess.
Yeah.
And then because I had made that whole atmosphere, it was like, oh, okay, I can do this.
Yeah. I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I realized, at first, like we talked about earlier, where I would just want to like jump in full throttle on things. And so I'm like, I'm doing traditional art, which means I have to sketch it and paint it and do all the things on paper. And as we were preparing to start the experiment, I realized I still want to sketch on my iPad. I still want to sketch on my iPad. And I still do some sketches in my journal. And I do enjoy that. But giving myself permission of, okay, I'm starting something super new with the painting. And it's okay if I want to do the sketches on my iPad because this is fun for me.
Yeah.
And so it's like a little bit of staying in my comfort zone while I move forward. But then I don't have that major fear of the blank page because
Yeah.
I, can make a mess on my iPad. I can get it happily where I want it.
Yeah.
I print it out. I transfer it onto my watercolor paper, and then that already, it gives me, it's like, okay, I love the way this looks. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
And so putting that first mark on that paper, on that blank page,
Yeah.
is not so
intimidating.
It's not so intimidating.
Yeah.
And maybe one day I will get to the point where I just draw straight on the watercolor paper. Knowing me, I probably won't.
Yeah. And that's okay.
And that's, but like it's okay, and it's okay, taking those steps. And
I love that that's like you embracing your process.
right.
Where you started out feeling like, oh, this is the process that I have to do is with traditional art, is I have to paint, I have to sketch on the paper and I have to do it this way. But
All
then
or nothing.
yeah. Because that's what everybody does, or that's what
Right.
people say, But then you realize, like, actually that doesn't work for me,
Yeah.
And this way feels better to
Mm-hmm.
me.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you let yourself do it. I feel like sometimes I just like force myself into doing things that don't actually feel like good to me,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I'm expected to do, or
Mm-hmm.
that's what everybody else does, and that's the way you do it. And so I don't lean into my creative problem solving, or like my creative,
Right.
my way of doing it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that you leaning into like doing the sketch on your iPad
Mm-hmm.
and then transferring it, like that was alone was an act of creativity, right? Of
Mm-hmm.
figuring out a different way to do it that felt better to you.
Right. Right.
And I love that.
I love it too.
Yeah. And I think that's also what this whole experiment is about, is finding those ways,
Yeah.
that feel good to us, because that's
Yeah.
what we've really been struggling with, is like, well, everybody's telling us to do it this way, but it doesn't really like, it doesn't really feel good. Like something's like stopping me
Right.
because it doesn't really work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is what we were wanting to really figure out, is like how to make this a thriving thing, instead of like I don't know, stilted, like like we really want this, but it's like hard to go about it in the ways that are within the box, right? That we think that we need to go about it. So we're figuring out how to do it outside of the box.
Outside of the box. Yeah, so I had an interesting experience with this week, where I did two paintings this week.
Nice.
And my my I guess fourth one that I have done. Well, let's see. Okay, I've done 5 paintings in the last 3 weeks, right? And so like
Nice.
the fifth one, technically, the fifth one, even though one of them was a repaint. But anyways, okay. It's really important that you understand all of these details. The fifth one was my best painting so far.
Woohoo!
Yeah, and I'm like, I looked back on all of them, in order, and I sent you a picture, and I was like, look at this growth. Look how much growth I've had in the last few weeks. Like, this is really exciting. And was kind of celebrating that. And then I sat down and started doom scrolling.
Oh, well.
And I found some like new artists that new to me artists, and was like looking at their watercolor artists, and I was like looking at their work, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. And it was like botanical, kind of stuff like I like to do. And at first it was just like, ooh, this is so fun, like seeing what they're doing and like what they're working on. And then it slowly started falling into that comparison, and like, oh, I'm not this good, and they're so like oh, like they're painting with such ease and confidence, and it's so beautiful. And then I just had to stop myself and be like, you've done 5 paintings. 5 paintings, and you're like scrolling through, they've got like hundreds of paintings on here.
Wait a minute.
right And it's like, even though you have built this confidence in working on your iPad, and like building patterns and all of these other things, and you do have that confidence there and ability there, and it's okay that you're in this part of your journey. Okay, I'm saying this as if I'm not talking to myself. It's like,
Yeah,
It's
right.
okay that I'm in this place
Of
of
learning.
learning and
Yeah.
like within my own journey. And also, what I painted was pretty dang cool. Like it
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah.
It was good. And I shouldn't lose sight of that celebration. Like it still feels weird to
Yeah.
me to be like, oh, celebrate myself. Like, because I did not grow up with that mindset, but I'm trying to really embrace that and,
Yeah.
just like, it's okay to celebrate your wins and your victories and like what you did well. And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to compare to where other people are at.
That is such a hard lesson
Mm-hmm.
to get to really get and to a thing to get over, the
Yeah.
comparison.
Yeah.
Because I think we live in a world of comparison. That's like
Mm-hmm.
all that we see all the time is just a comparison to other people.
Yeah.
And especially since, the social media age, right? That's like such a problem and so hard. And so coming coming back to just we don't need to compare to the Joneses, like we don't need to compare
Mm.
to any other artists or any other creative person. Um, we just need to be ourselves
And flourish and
and
let
flourish.
ourselves
Mm,
flourish and put beauty into the world.
yes. And that's good
It is good.
and worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a worthy
Mm-hmm.
thing to do.
Yeah. And then, after that experience, I had to come back and be like, what if this artist that I really liked, or this artist I really liked, or this artist I really liked, or this musician I really liked stopped sharing
Mm,
what they're doing? Like how devastated I would be.
yeah.
Because I have a few people that I will like instead of just scrolling, I'll be like, oh, I wonder if they posted something, and I will like search them and I will
Yeah.
see because it is uplifting to me.
Mm,
It's like
mm-hmm.
this beauty that I seek and want,
Yeah.
in my life, and I want to see if they're creating something new and to like hear from them.
Yeah.
Um and not everyone is gonna want to share their creativity on like on Instagram or
Yeah.
something like that. And that's totally fine. That's totally valid. And we're not saying that like everybody has to do that.
Yeah.
But like what a shame it would be if they weren't putting that beauty into the world.
Right.
And we can be that person,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
I love that because I mean, yeah, think of somebody, an artist or a singer or somebody that you really love to follow. And think if they at the beginning of their journey looked at somebody else and said, "Oh, well, they're doing so much better than me, and so I should just not even try."
Yeah.
And then they just didn't try.
Yeah. Oof.
Then what we wouldn't have because of that.
Right.
And the
Right.
same goes for each one of us.
Mm,
We all have something to offer.
we do.
We all have beauty inside.
Yeah. Yeah. Another example. So my mom, um, we had this fun dynamic where we would go to restaurants
Mm.
and we would order a couple different things and we'd share it all and we'd sit there and we'd eat and then we'd talk about like what ingredients are in this. How do you think they made this?
That's cute.
And then like can we go home and recreate it?
Yeah, that's
And
so
it's
fun.
it's something that we just love to do. And that I wanted to give an example of something that's not like a business.
Yeah, right.
It's not on social media, it's not a business, but it's just those moments of connection that were shared from that creativity. And
Mm.
like if my mom hadn't been willing to embrace that side of herself that got curious
Mm.
um, and wanted to play and wanted to have fun, we wouldn't have had those moments of connection
Mm.
that made my life a little bit more beautiful and a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
um it's so empowering and it's so important.
I love that. I mean, that made me think about, my own mom and
Mm,
our the things that we would do. I mean, we would make like cards and stuff and with stamps and we would make jewelry, like we would do
yeah.
paintings. And those are some of my favorite memories as a
Mm,
kid, is
mm-hmm.
doing those activities with her. And it was because she wanted to do them. She was interested in that, right?
Yeah.
And then we were able to do it together and she thought, I would like it too. But um it was because of her following that
Mm-hmm.
and leaning into that opportunity and that, curiosity and creativity,
Right.
that we, got to sit and we had really great conversations, and that was some of our best like bonding time,
Mm-hmm.
and how important is that
Yeah. Yeah.
within your own family,
Right.
like it's so
Right.
important to have those moments. And some of the best times, I mean, like making cookies,
Mm-hmm.
like are some of the best memories are circled around creative moments.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like creativity is just another expression of love.
Mm,
That's, really what it boils down to. It's another way of saying I love you. And
yeah.
sometimes it's to yourself.
Mm,
Sometimes it's to, a child or a spouse or a friend
mm.
or even nature or the world. Like it's another way of just saying I love you.
Yeah. Well, and some of the best gifts that I've gotten are homemade,
Mm.
handmade,
Mm-hmm.
because it's so meaningful,
Right.
right? Because
Right.
they put in that love and attention and
Mm-hmm.
thought, and the thoughtfulness that goes behind it. That is creativity.
Yes.
And and that, yeah, I love that. Creativity is another form of love.
Yeah.
That's it for today, friend. Thanks for spending this time with us. We hope you're leaving with a little more light, a little more peace, and maybe even a nudge to go be creative, just because it brings a little more joy to your life. If anything in this episode spoke to your heart, sparked a thought, or made you smile, we'd love it if you'd follow the show, leave a quick 5-star review, or share it with someone who might need a little creative encouragement too. And remember, your creativity matters. Your voice matters. You matter. We're cheering you on always. Until next time, keep making, keep softening, and keep showing up as your whole beautiful self.